The switch case has some limitations and is not always a better programming construct than the if-else chain. In the previous lesson, we looked at a grade conversion program, which takes a range of grades and converts them to a letter. This could not be done easily with a switch case statement. Here is the example shown in Lesson 4a. A range of grades from 90 on up results in an A, and you can see the rest of the output as we showed you before. To do this in a switch case statement requires a listing of every single value in the range. Not a reasonable option, since the code would expand to huge proportions, as you can see. It is certainly possible to do, but not very practical. Switch case with strings. Strings can now be used in switch statements as of Java version 7. This was not the case before. The basic structure is the same, but the selector list is several strings instead of integers or characters. Study the example on the next slide. Here you see a switch with a word, and then we have several possible strings to match. We input the word Spanish, and we output Hola Mundo. We enter the word Italian, and we output Ciao Mondo. We enter the word Swahili, Habari Dunia. The primary guideline for when it would be good to use this technique is this: when the value to be switched is a character, or integer data type, or a string object. No other data types allowed. Practically speaking, when the possible list of selector values is fairly short, a switch case statement is a good option. The 26 letters of the alphabet is just about as long a list as you would want. Bottom line of when to use a switch case statement: when using it significantly simplifies your code and makes it more readable to the human eye. Another feature of the switch statement is the case of the default case, the action that happens when no match is found in the selector list. This is usually placed at the end of the list. The next slide shows an example of this technique. This program is fairly trivial, but demonstrates all of the features of the switch statement, including the default action. The selector list is simply all of the single digits in base 10, each of which has a comment associated with it. The value 2 has 2 comments. Notice the strategic placement of the breaks to achieve this. We input 0, the output U typed 0. You input a single-digit number, 2. 2 is an even number, 2 is a prime number. You input 4, 4 is a perfect square. You input 5, 5 is a prime number. You input 45. Only single-digit numbers, please. This is the default output. Finally, a minor detail. Since the last statement in a switch is indeed the last thing that will happen, it is not really necessary to put a break at the end.